Okay, we're back again. We're looking at some hops here. I don't know if it's clear, but I tied a little piece of wheatgrass right to the previous growth point yesterday. That was around 3 o'clock, and we've managed to garner another 2 inches of growth right to the tip of this hops vine here. I believe these vines are Mount Hood, and if we take a gander all the way down, you can kind of get a sense of how we have this laid out. Troy and Andy did a great job laying down an irrigation line, which I was a little bit resistant to, but I think at the end of the day, the minions have done well. They've come up with some innovative ways to deal with our cold weather climate as well as our unique situation here up in Montana. Many of the challenges we have are challenges that farmers have throughout our country and throughout the world. The only difference is it gets pretty darn cold up here. So we have to come up with ways to get things to grow quickly and to get a lot of water on them as much as we can. Last night we were fortunate. We got a little bit of rain, but it is not the soaking rain that we need here. Typically 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain is about a minimum to really get enough moisture into the soil for it to have any meaning. Unfortunately, that just didn't happen. I'm actually noticing my drip emitters now, which is probably not real evident. We'll get to those in a moment. But the drip emitters have now gone on automatically. We resolved that situation yesterday. Apparently there was a break in the line, no doubt due to some overzealous tilling by my colleagues. We can't fault them for that. Wow, okay, this vine has completely gotten out of control here. I gotta back up here a bit. I like to see that. I'm not even too sure this vine was in this condition even last week when I was here. So I'm really gratified with this progress by this vine. It's nice to see something in the Foch department here working well. I'm actually going to get this vine trellised without breaking the shoot. There we go. Boy, that is just going to be a wonderful vine right there. Nice and healthy. I believe this is going to be a winner. As long as Mother Nature throws us a bone this year and takes care of us in the winter area, we don't get a real hard freeze. I think we may have a chance at some really nice fruit production next year. We are getting some clusters this year. Not a lot, but probably enough to make, oh, I don't know, probably a little bit of jam for those of you who like Foch jelly. And Foch jelly apparently is pretty good stuff, as I'm pulling out these wonderful Montana style weeds. And unfortunately these weeds are quite pervasive in the vineyard. We spent a vast majority of last week dealing with these vines and with these weeds, and the weeds are something else. They have deep root structures. If I could get my vines to grow as well, boy, I'd probably be at full production already year 2. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Again, we're seeing some nice vegetative growth here early in the year. According to Troy, the rate of growth is significantly improved over last year. I expect to be back here in 3 weeks to evaluate the situation. Unfortunately, my day job precludes me from being here full time. So far, this is far from a money-making venture, so I still got to be at home doing what I do, and that's being a dentist. At some point when I retire, I may be given the opportunity to do this on a full-time basis. I guess everybody has to have a secondary occupation, and I guess this is mine. Note the difference here again. We have the 3309C rootstock over here, and then all of a sudden we get all of this growth over here to the right, and this is actually Frontenac here, and it's growing quite well. We only have 25 of these vines, but the other half to the right, the 2 rows to the right here, as well as the row to the left here, is either Frontenac or Marischal Foch, and it is all own rooted. Consequently, there is no graft joint, so there's no weak point in the vine. This is a classic situation. Unfortunately, when I planted the Marischal Foch, I didn't have that knowledge. Now I do. So I guess learning can be a bit of a painful process. We'll come back to the other half of the vineyard in a minute.